Ladies, gentlemen, esteemed non-binaries, Trashkin all. Good evening and welcome to Trash Tier Gaming. I'm your humble host, Rasp a Trash Bear, part-time YouTuber, full-time Trash Bear. And today, we're finishing up AWE, the final DLC for Control. It's been a long, strange trip. Last time I got sidelined for 2 weeks in a row with lore hunting and mod hunting because I learned.
Man, great timing. Hartman just came through here. God, he was hideous. He tore
Yeah.
the security door into the Bright Falls AWE site wide open. He was so ugly. Like, wow. I got a good look at him, and Christ,
Yeah.
he does not look like he used to. The hits
No.
must have messed him up or something. He
Real
looks
bad.
like a bar rag that's been twisted by the world's strongest man, or a monster from some 80s horror movie. You know, back when it was all practical effects. Ugh.
Yeah, what
Did you
appetite?
say something? Remember, I can't hear you. Never mind, just go after Hartman. Oh, so disgusting.
Oh. Langston's finally out of words, I guess.
I've written, rewritten. The darkness wants to hide the past to make me lose my way. I trust what I read on these pages. I wrote them for a reason. Cut through the reality, tear it apart, and rewrite it. They are drawn to the mystery.
Yes, there we go. On writing the manuscript and... Oh, Valhalla Nursing Home. We'll do Valhalla Nursing Home first.
The Valhalla Nursing Home. Founded in 2014 for Odin and Tor Anderson of the Old Gods of Asgard fame for their twilight years. Built after the Return Comeback tour. Flip-flopped to be their farewell tour. Cut short. Cancelled. To the chagrin of their agent Barry Wheeler. Wheeler had managed to coax a couple of hit songs out of them before that. Balance Slays the Demon, a couple of others. 3 massive stadium-sized gigs. The old men rocked like they were possessed by the devil. Like their namesakes. The backstage parties got out of hand. The air was thick with smoke. Wheeler squinted. His migraine flared. Booze and drugs. A rock and roll cliche. They ran off after every gig. Wheeler had security track them down to the craziest after parties. The Andersons were so old. Vampires. Princes of fucking darkness. After every gig and the rampaging party that followed, it took them weeks to bounce back. And they never did completely. Each time Wheeler expected them to croak. It was that bad. After the 3rd gig, Wheeler couldn't take it anymore. Couldn't stomach the idea of another client dropping dead on him.
Oh,
Wheeler
barely
canceled.
grew conscious.
Called it off.
Well, he always
It was
had
over.
one.
After the Old Gods comeback tour was canceled, Wheeler set up a foundation with the money from the record sales of the Greatest Hits album and the gigs. A lot of money. Wheeler was good at his job. Wheeler set up the nursing home facility. The old men deserved it.
I think what's most interesting is Alan apparently uses modified Hut and Peck. Hartman's final act. There's the 3rd thing. Oh, on writing the manuscript.
I've written and rewritten. Deconstructed, reconstructed. Experimented with different voices. Changed the style, changed myself. Forgotten the language, relearned the language. Have I been here before? Gone down this path before? The darkness wants to hide the past to make me lose my way. You must know where you've been to know where you're going. I trust what I read on these pages. I wrote them for a reason. My notes to myself. The only way to make progress, recap, then write more. The style then. Lose the fat. Make it clear. Ugly. Functional. Present. Be blunt. Only the brutal truth. Cut through the reality, tear it apart, rewrite it. Be clever. make them do the work, form the image in their minds, they make it, you just imply. Incept. They're drawn to the mystery, obsessed. You set it up, they put it together. Their interpretation, and there's only one because you give them no choice. And they believe in it. Because it's theirs now.
All right. Last tiny savory bits of lore. All right, well, let's get on this elevator and get to work. I'm sure they got some weird kiss-off for us here, Trashkin. I don't know what weird kiss-off they have for us, but there's bound to be one.
Stuck. Let's go take care of it.
Ah. There we go. Yoink. Excuse me while I rifle through my mods. And back to it. Yet it ding. Ooh.
Thank you for meeting with us again, Dr. Hartman.
It's my pleasure, gentlemen. I hope the information I provided thus far has been of some small use.
It's been invaluable, Doctor. Really, we have a much clearer picture of this event, thanks to your accounts.
Well, I do consider myself a keen observer of...
We did have one question, though. You mentioned in an earlier conversation that your patients displayed, and I'm paraphrasing here, unnatural abilities that you in fact encouraged during their time in your lodge. It'd be very helpful if you could fill us in on the details there.
Of course. Like yourselves, I work to understand and even bend the rules of our earthly paradigm. My patient's well-being was paramount, of course, but I would hardly be a man of science if I did not reach out at the underlying truth. As I stated in
I
my
still
written
want to punch this dude.
proposal, I believe working alongside your organization could be greatly beneficial to both parties. Sharing notes, as they say.
Thank you, Doctor. That's all we need to hear. Remy?
Dr. Emil Hartman, you have been found in breach of codes 4
Heyo.
74 of the Federal Bureau of Control Criminal Offense System.
What? You can't do this? I am a well-connected man. You're making a dire mistake, my friend.
You will be detained until further notice and all personal property will be confiscated, including the Cauldron Lake Lodge.
That's preposterous. You can't just seize my property. I'm a United States citizen.
About that.
That lodge is my life's work. I'm offering you years of research.
Get him out of here.
You're making a mistake. You have to listen to me. You have to listen.
That's rough, but it couldn't happen to a more deserving soul. Ooh. Yink. Yoink. Bunk.
I've forgotten again. I had a plan.
Oh.
I know it.
It's like dealing with a false Hydra.
I've
Like,
forgotten.
ever so often, you just forget any knowledge of it. I'm real excited for Alan Wake 2, but at the same time,
He's coming.
oh, what a lead-in.
I've got to get out of here. Dive deep.
That's unpleasant. Well, Trashkin, I'm going to make sure my settings are good here. Excuse me. Okay. Right, if
Whatever
I
is
haven't
going on with
already,
Wake, he clearly needs some help.
if you like wacky, weird, and existential dread, some of that horror-flavored RPG, I have two podcasts to recommend. One I'm involved with, Applied Materials by DJ Atomica, a Orpheus fan server podcast, which deals with these side missions, the odds, the ends, the dailies, and may or may not feature a familiar trash bear on occasion. It's a very eclectic cast. If you want to know what's up with that character, listen to the cover story and to prepare yourself for their next appearance. Small Town Blues and the numbers. Numbers first, Small Town Blues second. And you'll be all ready for when I pop back up. But I do encourage you to listen along. And of course, there wouldn't be an Orpheus Protocol fan cast without the Orpheus Protocol, an RPG system by Rob Sith. An excellent duder in every sense of the word, and an eclectic cast of great tabletoppers, like Dan Smith, as Mitch Hook, very well liked, Lilith, Greg, Brain. I just think of those characters so often. But they're a great bunch, and they have an actual play podcast to go with the RPG system, which will soon be available. The beta rules are readily available. I'm not sure when the PDF of the full release will be made available on RPG Drive-Thru for purchase. And the hardcovers, I think, are going print on demand, but like the last time, links to both will be down in the description, and they can be found on podcast and Apple Podcast, and where finer podcasts are distributed. They're easy to find, and we're going to make it even easier to find them. Ding. Ah, there we go. Even here in darkness. Mm-hmm. It's happening again. Huh. Visit the Pacific Northwest Wonderland. See America. Yep. The power of the Bureau compels you. Hello.
Going mad. Wake had to escape, right? His escape. Wake needed a hero. A hero needed a crisis. For the part in the story about the government agency, Wake needed something special. Something to convey an alien force mimicking human intelligence.
That's just too juicy not to hear, Trashkin. But yeah, the Orpheus Protocol has a little bit of that SCP flavor, a little bit of X-Files, a lot of the bizarre and strange. It's a little heavy on body horror. They're usually pretty good about giving warnings, but if you're not into existential dread and body horror, universal horror media rules apply. If at any point you find the nightmare fuel upon you. Please pull up, come back a little later, or at the end of the arc, and listen to the recap from the previous. Do not endanger your mental well-being to support a theme. Oh, here we go.
The story needed many beginnings, many springs, streams that turned into a river, a flood, and then an ocean. This was one. Wake used the materials he had, the connections he had, the people, the places. Wake put them in to make it true. His wife, the psychiatrist, his city. These connections, like magnets, move things. Alice was a conduit. She'd been in the dark place. The thing that had been Hartman sensed her near, sensed Wake through her. Went berserk, broke loose. I'm sure Alice was already gone by then. Safe. The more springs, the more the story became real. The more people believed. Cause and effect. It was extremely delicate and hard work. It had to go through the path of least resistance where success was most likely. Where there was a connection already. Wake felt the pressure grow in his head. Going mad. Wake had to escape. Right. His escape. He was already out. He wanted to make it true. Wake needed a hero. A hero needed a crisis. For the part in the story about the government agency, Wake needed something special, something to convey an alien force mimicking human intelligence. Something that can't be translated. Translated. Wake channeled Burroughs and Bowie. He cut up sentences and words. Orange peel. You are home. Insane. He put them in a shoebox. He pulled out the words. Wake created a Dadaist poem. He'd try anything once. Or had he tried this before?
Well, you know the rules. Whatever's inside of a shoebox is immune. Ooh. Where are we gonna wind up now? Oh, back overhaul. And free. Power on.
Another replica. Like the one they made for Ordinary.
Director Faden here. Dispatch a ranger to this location.
It's an honor, Director.
Oh, Alan Wake interview. After reaching out to the Bureau, Alice Wake has brought into the oldest house for interview on file 400. The interview conducted by Agent Shaw and Dempsey revealed that Mrs. Wake had recurring nightly visitations from her missing ex-husband, because he's presumed dead at this point, in her New York apartment address. Mr. Wake appears out of nowhere and rushes at her down a corridor. According to her impression, he appears crazy and horrifying, clearly coming at her with violent intent. Mrs. Wake believes that he is haunting her, insisting he is not Alan, but a fucking monster in his body. Mrs. Wake has not been sleeping out of fear of these visits. Her attempts to keep the lights on throughout the night result in relevant hallways light bulbs breaking every night, possibly indicating movement of the... Further investigation required. We proposed installing monitoring equipment at the Poppies. Copies of supply request form L5014 have been sent to Mr. Kirkland and administration for approval. Oh. Ah.
Bastards! Suppressing! Push up!
I really didn't expect you to make it, buddy.
Let's do this!
Ooh, 1976. I have to remember that. Yep, that's just console. Yep. Aha!
Get around them!
Thanks to what? The Orpheus walk from the eyes done.
Whoa!
Suppressing fire!
Back it up and let loose. Whoa! Oh.
Take it down!
Bingo! Good thing I specialize this thing against armor. Good luck out there. Alright, I gotta work my way to the far side there. There we go. Ooh, ending sequence.
Hartman won't be a problem anymore, Langston. But investigations need someone to run it. Interested?
I've seen what happens to sector heads, ma'am. No thank you. Ma'am, I'm getting something on my terminal here, an AWE alert from Bright Falls, Washington. But it might be a glitch. The date's all wrong, a couple of years in the future. And we're in lockdown, there shouldn't be any incoming signals.
Maybe maybe it was active before we went into lockdown? Are there agents on site?
Let me check. Agent Estevez is the field agent in charge of monitoring the sites.
Hey!
She should be there to let us know if the situation has been through any major changes recently.
Chills. I'm so glad I coughed up for this. Well, rather, Epic put it up for freebies.
Things set in motion. If the alarm's true, then so is the reason for the alarm. The effect must follow the cause. It's happening again. A return.
Ooh.
You have been warned.
That kiss off. Alright, well, before we call the session, let's have a look around, see if there's anything else hidden around here. Think not, but... Oh, it's a rebuild of the lodge. Oh, that is so disturbing. Gray-scaled Cauldron Lake Lodge. Let's see if there's any other goodies hidden here. Like evidence. A photograph of Alan Wake captured by Alice Wake during an event in her home. Alice Wake, former wife of Alan Wake, has recently been visited at night by her ex-husband or entity resembling him. See file. Being a professional photographer, Mrs. Wake positioned cameras with motion sensors around the corridor he appears in and managed to capture an image of Mr. Wake on film. During an interview with Mrs. Wake, she mentioned that her favorite camera model was lost in 2010 during the AWE-35. No match has been found among the confiscated evidence of AWE-35. It has been filed as a potential altered item, and research staff stationed at Bright Falls are being contacted to check if they have any knowledge of any such item. Lovely. Wake photograph. Whoa! Okay, please be Mr. Stays. Evidence ID 1223-1C. Photograph of Alan Wake provided by Alice Wake, taken on redacted 2017. Alright, well, let's see. Now we got 1720s. Something way out there. Alright, none there. Case files. Bright Falls, 1976. An unconfirmed threshold manifestation occurred at Cauldron Lake, Washington. The citizens of Bright Falls had gathered in the town's southwestern fields for the annual festival known as Deerfest. Eyewitnesses all claimed that day had been sunny, confirmed by reviews of the area's weather reports. But then, with no warning, a thunderstorm appeared in the direction of the Anderson farm, and a tornado rose from Cauldron Lake. The torrential rain that followed caused a flash flood. It was as if the day had turned to night. Testimony from, I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess Doc Hayward. Frank Breaker, the sheriff of Bright Falls, formerly a bureau agent see employee file. Breaker was an agent? Managed to guide the crowd to safety as the festival grounds were destroyed by the flood. The festival was canceled, ending one day early. Lack of official bureau presence on the scene makes this event difficult to report as a confirmed AWE, though the similarity to other known events in Bright Falls area lend credence to the accounts of the townspeople. Well, that's... oh... it's real cool.
This must be where they studied Hartman. Kinda looks like Dylan's cell. I wonder if they treated him as badly.
Probably. Ooh, supplement. Bright Falls AWE 10. On the day of the flooding, the rock band Old Gods of Asgard, who, in reality, you want to know who they are? Yeah, they're Poets of the Fall, just, you know, not playing as Poets of the Fall. Was rehearsing in a field outside of the Anderson farm, the homestead of band members Odin and Tor Anderson, both admitted being in a heavy state of inebriation. Perhaps on a moonshine of a... oh, yeah. Having spent days drinking their home-brewed moonshine while celebrating Deerfest. After the townspeople were evacuated from the flooded field, Sheriff Breaker was asked by Freya Anderson, daughter of Tor Anderson, to check on her father and uncle. Breaker drove out to the Anderson farm and found the band members alive but in need of medical aid. Tor Anderson had been struck by lightning, and Odin Anderson had cut out his own right eye. Possible reference to Norse deities, Odin and Thor. They claimed they had fought and valiantly defeated a dark army of the Scratching Hag, rising up from Cauldron Lake, AWE of 1970, related to the suspected at Divers Island. While impossible to verify, these events are relevant to the recurring AWE at Bright Falls and the Cauldron Lake, I'm gonna guess, Lodge. Odin and Tor Anderson have been listed as persons of interest. Oh, lots of good little bits of lore left. Really? Alright, fine. Get your forklift. For heaven's sake, I just want to get the lore. Oh, for glove's sake! Ugh, that dude was worth a jukebox token. Ugh. Just, ugh. Ugh. I'm just rooting around for loose lore. Relax, game. Suppose the only thing left is the jukebox, but the jukebox is, for me at least, not a fun time. I mean, there are worse in games, but tell you, that geometry behaves real weird. Yeah. There we go. Trying to hide more items from the game. Ooh. Well, I'm probably not going to use it, is the irony, but... The grouping efficiency. Yeah, less than what I got. Well, let's make sure there's nothing else hanging out around here. I mean, I get it. They built the areas to be dark to prevent you from getting up in there during the fight. So that item hunting in that scenario is, you know, death. They also do a really good job of hiding things in general next to lights, so that you're partly blind looking for it. Though I will not miss the darkness in this game anytime soon. I don't like bumbling around in a dark screen. Well, I hate to say it, Trashkin, but I think that's all the content that there is on offer without secret hunting, and I gotta love it, Trashkin. I feel no great urge beyond those 5 exclusive mods to go secret hunting. Like, I'm sure there's some cool stuff hidden, but you gotta leave something in the tin to go find. I highly encourage you to check it out for yourselves. So, here in this spooky replica of Cauldron Lake, I guess we're gonna call this playthrough to an end. So, we're gonna plug the Orpheus podcast, or the Orpheus Protocol podcast again, and Applied Materials in Orpheus Protocol fancast, or fan server podcast. Links down in the descripto. I'd like to take a moment to remind you that likes, comments, and subscriptions help us reach a wider audience, keep the trash fire burning bright, help me keep the snack and drinks tables stocked, and help me replace camping chairs when they do finally give out and must be retired. I've been your humble host, Rasp, a trash bear, living embodiment of your mother's warning that if you drop out of college, you'll wind up working trash. I'd like to thank you all for coming out. I'd especially like to thank all of you that have been here from the start of the playthrough. Much appreciation. I understand it's a lot to ask. I thank you for coming out and seeing what I got up to week. Like just shy of 30 hours is nothing to sneeze at. That's a hell of a to-do if you made it from one end to the other. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of investment. That's dang near 2 days. So, Trashkin, thanks for coming out. Thanks for keeping a chill vibe around the trash fire. Holy hell, we finished another game. I got some sweet Alan Wake lore on top of some sweet Control lore. We've been from one end of the FBC to the other. We've knocked out every hiss we found. We've accomplished everything there is. I found 5 mods I didn't expect to. And Trashkin, that's it. That's all. If you'd like a little more Trashkin or Trash Bear action, that's fine. We got plenty of more videos on the channel. I thank you to check them out. Horse Sampler's been doing great. Why not go give that a spin? So, if you haven't already, have a good stretch by the trash fire. Help yourself to another snack and another drink for the walk home. She's a long way. Pace yourself. I don't want you pulling anything. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, good night. Thanks for coming out, and I'll see you in the next one.